I want to start first how we met. I was sitting down there. You were a keynote speaker. It was in Clearwater. I was sitting there, mesmerized by your stories. Most importantly, I felt like I was taking a master class in public speaking and storytelling. My question to you is, how did it all start? You were a high performer, a world class athlete, but you turned yourself and you became a speaker and a coach. What prompted you to make that shift? And also, what happened that initial phase when you were transforming yourself from a world class athlete into a speaker and coach?
Well, one, AZ, I learned, on my way to the NBA, I mean, for you to play at that level, I mean, it's a full-time commitment. Obviously it took years. When I really think about it, the first time I touched a basketball, I was about 8 or 9, probably. And 15 years later, I'm an NBA ball player. So 15 years of coaching, 15 years of commitment, 15 years of development really taught me how to become elite. And everything I learned in basketball applies to business. And so when basketball was over, I got a chance to play 8 years, played for the Dallas Mavericks, Utah Jazz, Detroit Pistons, played in Italy, Greece, and Germany, had a great experience traveling the world. And so when it was over, my college basketball coach, when I left the University of Minnesota, was like, you should be a motivational speaker. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like at the time, I didn't even know what he was talking about. So when my career ended, I was broadcasting for the Timberwolves. I didn't see broadcasting as a long-term career for me. And I remembered that my coach said I should be a motivational speaker. So long story short, my wife has an entrepreneurial background. She comes from an entrepreneurial family. And in 2001, in a spare bedroom, we launched right there in Minneapolis, St. Paul, which is a great business community. Everybody knew me as an athlete and people would listen. And as a business leader, it really taught me the power of personal brand, relationship building, people liking you. So I got a great opportunity in the Minneapolis, and we really have turned that into a global training and development company. So honestly, it's my purpose. Basketball wasn't my purpose. It was a platform I think God allowed me to attain. So now I have credibility to go in front of any company, any business leader, any executive and say, dude, I made it to the highest level and I can help you achieve the highest level too. So it's not really about me anymore. My significance is helping our clients become peak performers.
That's a wonderful story. I want to give us this opportunity to our audience, if in case you want to give them some insights. Sometimes I meet people, they are technically world class, but they don't put a little bit effort on softer skills, leadership and entrepreneurship. And after a while, when their technical abilities don't give them any competitive edge, they are out of business, they are out of their career, and then they don't have the impact they should have. Like in your case, you played as a world-class athlete and you came back again in another industry, totally different, and you again shined here. Any advice, people who may be young right now, they may not be thinking about what kind of skill sets they should develop, what kind of relationships, what kind of things they should do while they are excelling at their technical skills and physical abilities?
Well, there's a whole process, and that's what we teach with our company. And I'll just share some of the insight. First, you have to have a vision. Without a vision, people perish. And so as a young kid, I had a vision of playing pro sports. My only challenge was which one. I was good in baseball, basketball, and football. I had the mindset, I had the skill set. And to this day, some people will say, man, you should have played baseball. Walter, my football coach, says you should have played football. So I had the skill set, I had the mindset, and I had the vision to become a pro. And so when my career ended, I applied everything I learned in sports and I created a vision on becoming successful as a motivational speaker. In fact, I told my wife, I said, babe, we're going to make more money in business than we did in sports. And within 3 years, we doubled our NBA income. 10 years later, I was a Hall of Fame speaker. And it really starts with vision. You have to have a vision, but you also have to understand that there's a certain code. Like I just spoke this morning and I taught what we call the peak performance code. Everything we do is based on the code. So you hear about the shark mindset. I have a shark mindset t-shirt on today. Everyone has seen the video on YouTube, Shark Mindset. It's our number one keynote. But that's just a part of the code. Having a winning mindset. And people don't even know the other the other 7 priorities of cracking the code. Just like a lock. In high school we had a locker. You had to crack the code. If you didn't put the right code in, you didn't open up the locker. Success is very similar. If you're not executing the code, you'll never become elite. And the people that we see in business and industry, music, sports, doesn't really matter. They crack the code. And mindset is a big part of the code. And it's really the beginning. So we help people with their mindset of how to become elite, but also developing the skill set. So leadership is a skill set. Teamwork is a skill set. Leadership, communication, it's all skill set, right? So what we've done for 25 years is help all of our clients become elite by teaching them the right mindset and then helping them develop the right skill set until you become elite. Let's be honest. You can't play in the NBA if you don't have the right mindset and the right skill set, and if you struggle in either one, it's going to be tough, right? So to play in the NBA, you have to have an elite mindset and an elite skill set working together. In college, you can get there with an elite mindset sometimes. Sometimes you can get there as, with an elite skill set. But to play in the NBA, you have to have both. And to be elite in business, you have to have both elite mindset and elite skill set. And we teach them through what we call the peak performance code.
What's powerful about what you teach is it's not just focusing on one thing. If I'm great in my mindset, if I don't have some skill sets, if I don't have some personality and how to build relationships, I cannot succeed.